right, it's going on. Setting up webinar for Facebook Live. Hey guys out there in Facebook, I think we're live. It says we're sharing, says we're rolling here on Chicagoland Chats with Butch Zamar and myself, Adam Serwinski with Sidebar Insurance. Welcome everybody. Sorry, better late than never. We have some technical difficulties, but we finally got Christine here to talk to us today about something I think we're all kind of wrestling with, the work from home situation. As most of us, it was the first or one of the early times we've actually been working from home. Butch, how about you? I mean, why don't you give some insights on what you've been doing, what your background is, and so people get to know you a little bit better while we're starting this off.
Sure. I'm Butch Zamar. I do some of the work, some of my work from home, the home office. There's obviously certain things you have to put in place, such as lack of distractions is a big one. Have your, you have your tools ready to go, and there's a whole list of things that we just have to have in order to be a little bit more productive at home.
Yeah. Well, so I was more so looking at for you to give a little insight into who you are and what you do, and then we can let Christine kind of highlight herself.
Got it. So I help small to mid-sized companies navigate this thing they call the Affordable Care Act. There's a lot of compliance issues and obviously administration and communication with the employees, and that's where we come in.
Well, Butch and I's guest today is Christine Clavenna, right? Did I get it right? I've been practicing all night because I screwed it up yesterday. Christine, why don't you introduce yourself? Talk to everyone about what it is you do out there and how you help people with their work-life balance.
Sure. So my name is Christine Clavenna, and I work for Rieke Office Interiors. The name pretty much explains what we do, but obviously we have had to switch things up a little bit because right now everybody is doing a home office version. So we are able to help people make sure that home version is working for them. And when we do go back to being able to work outside of the home, we also are able to design and help furniture-wise office interiors.
So really quickly, just before we get into more of the question and answer piece, we're going to be asking Christine some questions about ways that people can kind of ramp up their home or improve their home office or even dining room table to make it more workable for them. We're monitoring the Facebook Live. We're monitoring in the Zoom chat. So if you have any questions, you want to ping or ask Christine for some specifics or ask for specific information, feel free to pop in. We will make sure that she gets answers. And if not during this time, can follow up with you after the fact, okay? So Christine, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the challenges you're hearing from customers as they're working from home?
Sure. So you can see from behind me that I am actually in my dining room and sat in the dining room chair probably for a week. And that's when my back started bothering me because the dining room chairs are just not ergonomically correct when you're sitting at a home office. So I think, the biggest thing is for home people is finding that right height table, whether you put books under the legs of it, if you have to, these are some easy solutions that you're able to do. But having that, if you find an office chair, if you have an office chair in your house that somebody else in the house is not using, bring that. I actually moved my office chair because the office is in the basement and it's cold and I don't want to be down there looking at walls. I want to look at the outside. So I moved my office chair up. But some other solutions is, you want that lower back lumbar support. So putting that pillow behind there, making sure that you're all the way back in the chair and able to get that support that you need, or else you're going to start to probably have a backache.
You talked about propping up monitors on things to kind of pick them up. What would you say is the ideal height for people if they're, they're hunched over maybe? Where would you say they should target? Not necessarily how many books, obviously,
right,
determine that, but where would you recommend ergonomically for people to have their monitors? And with respect to that, also keypads, mice, different things like that.
So really the distance between your eyes and your monitor should be about 15.7 inches. So, close, I would just say 15 to 16 inches. You also want to be able to, you're sitting up, correct posture, and your eyes to be able to straightly look on to, I noticed, Adam, you sat up straight too.
Yeah, no, you're definitely giving me, you're giving me a complex here. I'm like, oh, I'm totally hunched.
But you want your eyes to look straight ahead. You don't want them to look up. And obviously mine right now is looking down because my monitor is on my table. So, a solution, obviously, if you have books, or even I'm looking at my kitchen right now, maybe different containers or 13x9 pans, if you have to do that. I mean, you can also do monitor arms, if you have that, those can be ergonomically correct. With that. So there's lots of different solutions if you don't want to purchase anything right now that you could use to set up your home office, but making it so suddenly after this time, you're not getting a lot of aches and pains.
Are there solutions that you're like, this may, there's people who are saying this may last 2-3 months with the home stuff. So are there actual solutions that you offer through your business and people could maybe look into, or that are affordable for them for this time frame to make this a workable scenario?
Yes. So we are actually offering quite a few things that can be delivered right to your door, or we can come in and set them up for you. We have a very simple desk that you can use, and we also are offering a sit-stand desk. So, those have become very popular because people like to also stand while they're working instead of continually sitting. You're seeing a lot of things where people, yes, you just put it up. So those are 2 examples of things that we are offering right now. A simple desk with O legs, and then the bottom one is a sit-stand desk that can go up and down. On the top left, if you have a current desk, but would also like to stand, this can fit on the top of your desk, and then your desk could be a sit-stand option. Right behind that, you can see the monitor arms that I kind of mentioned, to have that monitor straight ahead so that your eyes look straight ahead and that you're not getting a neck ache from either looking down or looking up. And then just, we're offering a couple of different chairs if you're not having an office chair that, gives you that lumbar support and the pillow just is not working anymore.
So all of these are options that you actually can offer individuals who are looking for office solutions that can be mailed right to their home?
Yeah, we can. Well, we can do a drop off if you do not want somebody coming into your house to set it up, or we can actually come into your house and set it up in the space that you want.
Very cool. Are there other things? Sorry, Butch, I didn't mean to step on your.
Go ahead.
No, I think so. There are other things that you recommend, or things that you think people need to do as far as intervals, as far as how long they should be sitting versus standing. Other things that they could potentially be that would make them maybe a little less achy after a day hunched over their laptop.
Yeah, I think it's very important for people, take those breaks. You took them at work a lot of times, or you would stand or go for a walk, or, even if it was walking to the washroom, you're taking those breaks. You're not continually sitting down. And those breaks are important. You've seen, I'm sure, all over Facebook, all over, people, and I know you're going to be talking about this too, is about the mental health of it also. But it's also for your body. Your body needs those breaks. If it's staying in the same position for too long of time, especially if it's not in that correct position, you're going to get some aches and pains.
Butch, you got some?
Yep. Yeah. So actually, you asked the same question I was gonna ask about how often you should get up and the activity level. And actually, another question, Adam, I don't know if you have any feedback, because you have one of those standing desks. What is your experience with some of those?
Yeah, I think personally, I use a standing desk when I'm in the office. I haven't been able to tote it home. It can be a little cumbersome to move around, to be honest with anyone. But I think one of the things that really helps me as far as just to I'm better on my feet when I'm speaking. I'm better on my feet when I'm thinking. I'm better on my feet. Then I get kind of sluggish after about 20, 30 minutes in a seated position. So for me, it makes a whole lot of sense to have some kind of standing options. The other thing I think too we can talk about is there's also, you know, the one of the things that I'm dealing with personally, and I think I'm sure there's a lot of people out there dealing with, is that now the kids are home. Not only are you working, but you're working around kids who are being told to do homework that they probably don't want to do and aren't used to doing at home. Do you have solutions or ideas for parents who are struggling maybe with that boundaries or at least even the organizational piece of having their kids at home while they're trying to work?
So one of the things that we do offer also, it's called a mobile ped. I don't believe there's a picture on it, but it's a filing cabinet with a cushion on the side, or a cushion on the top, I mean. And a lot of times people have used it so that kids can sit right there and, you know, do the work along with you. Now, that can be a little bit distracting, obviously. So, you know, we've recommended maybe having the kids do a little bit longer project and checking in on them, letting them come in and check in on you, talking with them, establishing those boundaries of, like you did right before we went live. Hey guys, I'm on a call, you know, or something like that. I mean, I've had to do it. I have adult children at home, and my husband is at home, and I've had to say, hey, I'm texting him, can you close the door, because he's on a phone call, I'm on a phone call, and you can hear both of us. So, you know, we've done things like that. And I think just establishing those types of areas. I know I've seen a lot of people just doing things more as a family, like here's some work time for all of us, and then we're going to do a project as a family, and then going back to maybe doing something, doing each work areas, and then going back to doing something as a family. Obviously, everybody knows this is not a normal time for families and for working. So I think there's, build that into your break time. You're working, you need to get up, then build that into your work time.
Those are definitely excellent tips. I know one thing in my household that I tried to do is talk to my kids and get some boundaries that let them know whether or not to check that I'm on the phone or other distractions that might come into play. And so they've taken some time to learn, but by setting those boundaries, it's actually helped us a lot.
Yes. Yeah. It's like I said, I had to, I have one grown son at home and my husband, and said, 1 o'clock, I'm on a live call. No, like running around or making lots of noises or anything like that, because, I don't have a headset right now. My husband does, but so just kind of, keeping up that communication with everybody. And we all know that, I was on a Zoom call last week, and you could hear kids in the background and the person's apologizing. And I'm like, that's okay. It's going to happen, Yeah,
I think it's really important to just be kind and understanding to other people on that.
Yes.
Maybe as another thought process, just something to think through. Have you thought of, are there any solutions you would offer from like creating workstations or from setting up work areas versus play areas in the home? Is there ideas that you can offer someone who's trying to make this work, but this seems like the boundaries need to be more physical than just something that's discussed? What would you recommend from that regard?
Well, and Adam, I think we talked about this earlier. If somebody wants to Zoom call me or whatever and show me, okay, this is where I would like to set it up. But just, I've had to do, when my kids were little and I did do some work at home, I would just say, okay, pretend I am invisible right now, which is difficult for kids. And this is mom's space. You need to leave my space alone, because we know, like right now, if I showed you my dining room table, there's papers all over the place, and you don't want your kids going into the papers that you need for work. So kind of like Butch said before, setting those boundaries and everything. It's hard to, it's not like if you have smaller children, you can enclose yourself in a bedroom or anything and not worry about what the kids are doing. So I think that's, again, where those breaks come in, giving them the attention that they need, but also them knowing, okay, I do have to do some work too.
It's really great. So what's great about that too is Christine's offering, just so people can understand, they can reach out directly. Christine, what's the best way for them to reach you so that you can set up maybe this FaceTime or some other type of way for you to be able to see their workspace and give them insights as to how they could make it a little bit better for themselves?
They can reach out to me on Facebook if they'd like. Also, they can email me. My email is cclavenna at Rieke, which is rieke.com. And we can set up a time that, they can show me what they're thinking of, and I can offer them some suggestions of, no, it looks great, or maybe try this, in doing that.
That's great. Now, another important thing, and I think you mentioned this before when we talked off, but I want to make sure bring it up. It's important to measure more than once, right? So especially with the solutions, it can be a little disproportionate, and then you get something that's either too big or way too small for the solution need. Any other hints that would help you in those scenarios?
You know what? We just we always say measure twice, cut once. So that's kind of the rule of thumb for it. Not that we're going to be cutting down walls or anything, but just when we make our own furniture, we always measure twice, so we only have to cut once. But I think, I can work with people on, okay, this is the area that I have. I mean, some people have very small areas, and you're seeing them put up very narrow tables, which is also not working for them. They're going to get backaches, or, their arm, the height of the table is not the correct way, and that's going to run into different issues. So I, definitely reach out to me. Let me help you set up your space. And then if we can come up with some creative ideas of how to make your monitor higher, or if you're wanting to, get a monitor arm, then, that's fine. I can do that also. But, just willing to help people right now. Both the company and myself are wanting to reach out to people to make sure that they're comfortable in their home office, because this could go on for a while.
Yeah, it's very true. So it's really great. Thank you, Christine, for sharing some of your insights and your questions. I want to allow a couple more seconds for people who may have questions specifically that we didn't get to. So I am going to give us a little preface of what we can expect for the next couple days. Both Butch and I have collected a number of people, hopefully, who will be able to provide you with some solutions and to figure things out from this work from home perspective. Tomorrow, we'll be having Amy Gardner to speak about work from home strategies and techniques, as well as we're also going to be able to have later in this week, Scott, I believe I'm blanking on Scott's last name. Butch, can you help me out with that?
Is it Nicholson?
Scott Nicholson, yep, with some logistical thoughts and processes for business owners and for individuals who are looking for solutions that are offsite that will allow to take some of the burden off of all of us, all their employees, other people, as they're working through these difficult times. Parents, as we talked about throughout this, that parents are having to deal with taking care of their kids. They're maybe not as efficient as normal. Scott's got some great resources on that. And then lastly, on Friday, we have some tech solutions that we'll have a guest speak on. That guest is going to be Butch.
Chris Higgins with some tech solutions for people working from home and for business owners to think about as we kind of head into this. Just because we're working from home, I think it's clear that with our technology that there's a lot we can accomplish, and there's a lot we can do. So looking at the comments, it doesn't look like we have too many questions. Christine, you were just too good for all of them to ask questions. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
So, hey guys, also last thing I do want to hit on is that Christine is from Lockport. She obviously is a local person who's running a small business. We want to support those small businesses these days, help each other out as we kind of deal with these difficult times. She's an outstanding local source for you to support and for us to support as we kind of all get through this together. So Butch, as always, thank you. It's awesome to work with you. Christine, thank you as well. This has been great. Guys, look forward to speaking to you tomorrow at noon with Amy Gardner on some tactics and strategies to make yourself better at working from home, not just solutions like Christine's offering, but also some additional tactics from someone who trains executives how to be executives. So I think a really, really great opportunity. Thanks, guys. Butch, Christine, thanks again. Everyone be safe. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thanks again. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.